Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am the Divine Feminine. I am an Ascension Master, a Master Healer, and a Divine Guide. And since 2019, I have been bringing through the return of Christ. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that as a joke or from a place of my ego. I say that from a place of truth, and it's something that I've had to awaken to and process and survive myself. Because the thing is, love won. And through the work that I have done, people still continue to give their power of the light to the shadow. It's happened a lot. So there's a very important message from God coming through today. It's very important. And if I've already sparked your shadow, use that reflection to heal it within you, because you can only see in others what is a reflection in you. Okay? One can only see in others what is in them to see. So use these things wisely, because there are troubled waters ahead. Okay? The work that I've done is very real. Reactivating the feminine and masculine pyramids from Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand, Peru, and the masculine ones from Kilimanjaro, Congo, British Columbia. Zimbabwe was a female one. Let's see, Zimbabwe. Oh gosh, my mind is, you have to watch the work, because in Africa there was Zimbabwe and two others, and I connected the feminine to the masculine ones also. So, and I believe it was Zimbabwe to Kilimanjaro, and those were the lines of the west and the back to the north. And so I've done the recalibration. We've shifted the poles, which is why your weather is the way that it is. That's not a joke. Things are upside down from what they used to be, because the new earth is here now. And I have a very important video I'm going to show you today. And then I'm going to show you the message from God, what God says, and the cards that were pulled for today's message as well. But this is very important, because spiritual discipline is required to make it through these troubled waters. When I have been saying since 2019 that you have to heal all karma, this is very real. We can't cut contracts. We can't cut ties to them. And there were a lot of people in the spiritual community doing that. You have to be able to heal your karma. I mean, heal it, not cut ties to it, not think you can do it another lifetime, because you cannot. We have to heal it now, okay, to rise. It's very important, and it required a lot of healing. And a lot of people who rose with me that got access to that Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus chose to bring their shadow in. So we cannot give our power away to the shadow or the matrix reality. Everything I have done, Spirit has shown me and told me many times, went with the Hopi Blue prophecy. So I'm going to show you a video today of that, okay? Because the work that I did is very real. I removed all darkness from the earth. I undid the Holy Grail on Christmas Day of 22, and that is what God called the resurrection. I brought down the anointing of the blood of Christ. We've undone the Sistine Chapel, and even recently undid the medical matrix. It is true when we tell you that the world you know is dying, okay? We cannot be duality anymore. All right? That's not about fear, because God does not push fear. Fear is of the matrix. Everything in the matrix uses fear against you. Okay? So let's remove the fear and let's remove the judgment, because that's what the shadow will try to do. And it's not light. Everything I tell you is proven and on this channel. So I encourage you to subscribe, to watch these videos. There is no time like the present to watch what is God. Okay? These things are very real, however, and they will continue to change the earth right in front of you. And if you're not healed enough, if you have shadow within you, it will block you from rising. So it's very important to understand this. So I have a video I'm going to show you right now that I haven't watched either. Spirit put it in front of me today and said, show this. And that's what we're going to do. Everything I have done goes with the Hopi Blue prophecy. Okay? I've said that many times. Also, revelations. A lot of revelations unfolds on this channel. in the Return of Christ playlist. It's very real work. It's not just me talking about it. It's the actual work. Okay, so I encourage you to see it. But we can only see as far as our shadow goes. That is also very true. Okay? So we can't see past where the shadow is. We can't see past the conscious understanding. And so with that, a lot of people assume just because they cannot see means, oh, it must not be real. And that's not true. Okay? So, Hopi Elder warns us, a call to spiritual connection. And just like I said, what God said is there is troubled waters ahead. Okay? We need to be aware of this. We need to ensure that we are ready, because every person is going to have a different experience on this journey. And it's important to understand that. Okay? So let's listen to what this video says. I have not watched this. I'm going to be watching it with you. This is from Light Spirit Body. I am going to subscribe because it popped in my feed as something important that God wanted us to see today.
Time evolves and comes to a place where it renews again. There is first a purification time, then there's renewal time. We are getting very close to this time now. We were told that we would see America come and go. And in a sense, America is dying from within.
Yes.
Because they forgot the instructions on how to live on earth. Everything is coming to a time where prophecy and man's inability to live on earth in a spiritual way will come to a crossroad of great problems. It's the Hopi belief, it's our belief that if you're not spiritually connected to the earth and understand the spiritual reality of how to live on earth, it's likely you will not make it. When Columbus came, that began what we term as the First World War. That was the true First World War when Columbus arrived. Because along with him came everybody from Europe. By the end of the Second World War, we were, in America, we were only 800,000. From 60 million to 800,000. So we were almost exterminated here in America.
I will also tell you that during the work that I was doing, I brought back the language of God because it was stolen from our... God does not call them Native Americans. But they were here. They had the language of God. They were connected. They were a part of the land. They honored the land. And I have said many times that we need to get back to that place where we honor the land, we honor God, we honor all connectedness, and we don't give our power away to the shadow any longer. We don't give the light away to darkness so that they can cause great divide and carnage. That is where the karma lies, is any way we give our power to the shadow.
Everything is spiritual. Everything has a spirit. Everything was brought to you by the Creator, the one Creator. Some people call him God. Some people call him Buddha, some people call him Allah, some people call him other names. We call him Tonkashila, grandfather. We're here on Earth only a few winters. Then we go to the spirit world. The spirit world is more real than most of us believe. The spirit world is everything. Over 95% of our body is water. And in order to stay healthy, you got to drink good water.
That is actually part of spiritual discipline. Good water also came out a lot in the work that I've done because the water you've been drinking has been controlled and poisoned. So that poison water will rise to the surface, and only some of us will have good water. We are not all going to have the same experiences going forward in the end of ways outside of God. That's truly what this is. It is the rapture, or many names people want to call it, but it is the return of Christ. It is the return of God. But what is Christ? It's not just a man named Jesus. It goes back to the beginning of time, Adam and Eve. This is the great reset of mankind. It's bigger than you know. It's larger than your mind can process. And trust me when I tell you, you can't see at a subconscious level, and we can't see past the shadow. So even nurturing our body is so important and a part of disciplined actions, and also coming through in my Twin Flame course that I am finishing up. But that's for everybody. It's how to align the masculine and feminine once again through the light of God, through union of love. No matter who you are half masculine and half feminine. And it is when that became ripped apart that we became confused on who we are.
When the European first came here, Columbus, we could drink out of any river. If the Europeans had lived the Indian way when they came, we'd still be drinking out of water because the water is sacred. The air is sacred. Our DNA is made of the same DNA as the tree.
This is true. All of the work that I've done, I've brought down Christ's DNA, the DNA of God again, and it comes through the earth and it photosynthesizes through the earth and into you. And in order for you to receive that, you have to be receptive to those activations. You cannot carry the shadow into the light anymore. You cannot have any shadow and any karma and carry that into the light anymore. You cannot do that. The earth and us connect in such a beautiful way. When I birthed the new earth, day 4 and day 5 and day 3, all of them, you can watch me bring through what is true. New foods, new earth connection to our DNA. For to be alive here, she knows who you are. She's connected to your DNA. We're all connected through the light of the one, and it nurtures our mind, our body, and our soul. There are troubled waters ahead. We are in them now. And the troubles you see are where your heart lies, where the shadow within you lies. This is a karmic play out for what was done to the earth and what was done with Christ's light and used against mankind. But the beauty of the earth is we will have new foods birthing, new pure water. Every healing that I do one-on-one, also, I draw in pure crystalline water that has been untouched and unpoisoned by man, and soil so nurturing and life so beauty. We're not meant to be sick. The earth provides everything we need, and it is our job to nurture her and give back to her. That is the circle of life and what we are going back to. And I've said this before on another video, is that we must go back to the ways of the natives.
The tree breathes what we exhale. When the tree exhales, we need what the tree exhales. So we have a common destiny with the tree.
I also want to tell you is that in the work that I've done, I've taken us to where the true trees were, where the great northern star was. I, in a lifetime, was scalped. I was part of what you call the Native American tribes. Um, it's in all the work that I do. I can't remember exactly what God calls them because it's channeled and it's just not coming through right now. But we are the natives. The Incans and Mayans were reborn at Lake Titicaca, where the sun went down and where the sun rose again. I recently did that as well. You guys, this is very real. The work that I've done is very real, and it aligns 100% with the Hopi prophecy. It aligns 100% with Revelations, the true parts of it that they didn't lie to you about, or manipulate the wordage, right, for confusion. The trees, I take us to the trees multiple times, but these are not the trees that are lies. And also what we found out during the work that I was doing is they cut down many of our original trees for a reason, but Asia was doing a preservation of them. And so those are the ones we go to now. The ones that are in California are dormant. They don't exist in the blueprint anymore. Neither does California. I truly did cut it off from life support, and you're witnessing that. I also said when I bring down this Christ light, what does not align will burn. And you're witnessing that. So we need to hear. And I also predicted the fires, but I didn't just predict them.
We are all from the earth. And when the earth, the water, the atmosphere is corrupted, then it will create its own reaction. Mother.
I also said many times that every element that was returned, that was stolen, everything that was taken from the light and used for the agenda, gain of the darkness of the Antichrist matrix blueprint, everything in that has its own karmic kickback. From money to the elements, they all have their own karma cleansing and purge to provide. When I process the earth's death, the earth in herself has her own karmic kickback to purge and cleanse. And this is what he's talking about. We will cleanse and purge and rebirth. And that is what we are in at this time. And if there is any karma in you, you are part of the cleanse rather than the rebirth. This is very real, and I have a message from God too. So let's listen. I haven't watched this video yet. This is beautiful. I love this.
Is reacting. In the Hopi prophecy, they say the storms and floods will become great. To me, it's not a negative thing to know that there will be great changes. It's not negative. It's evolution.
Yes.
When you look at it as evolution, it's time. Nothing stays the same. You should learn how to plant something. That's the first connection. You should treat all things as spirit. Realize that we are one family.
That's also why they say when you eat animals, you're a cannibal no matter what species, because we're all connected through the same spirit. We're all connected through the same soul and the same light. And when natives, when true natives were relevant and prevalent, most of them in the beginning only killed for survival. They only took what they needed for survival. And if they ever did kill, they honored it with everything that they were. And they used every bit of everything, and they left nothing for trash. So it's important to be aware of what you're eating, the genetic modifications, the lies, the things they put in our system have not been of God. And when I undid the medical matrix, that came out even more. A lot of things that they are saying is what I've brought about, and it's very real, very real. And you're seeing it unfold now. And I've been doing it since 2019, and everything I did is aligning to what you're seeing. I've been saying it and doing it since 2019.
It's never something like the end. Just like life, there is no end to life.
Beautiful. This is, however, the great reset of mankind. Okay? So we are resetting. We are resetting our ways of life.
America is dying.
I will also share this video in the description of the one that I am doing now. As a great reset of mankind, we can no longer come here to cleanse out karma. There is a karmic play out. So this is what God said. And this is a call for action. This is a call for action, but also a need to act now. Because there are troubled waters lay ahead, and spiritual discipline is absolutely required. If you are not connecting spiritually, you are not rising. It is required. We have to co-create. We have to be soul path aligned. And when I said that, oh, so many people threw their shadow at me. That shows where we're at in the collective soul. We cannot be in the matrix path. We cannot be in what is dying. We have to be in what is rising, which is your soul path, the path of the soul. We cannot anchor into a matrix blueprint, which is that of Antichrist. There is absolutely a karmic play out in that as well. And if you are choosing anything in the matrix, you are giving your light to that, and you can't do that anymore. You have to be soul path aligned. I did a video that you can find out if you were and what to do to get there. A soul path is completely aligned with your heart space, with your higher self, with creator, and co-creating. Not carrying the matrix with you in any way, shape, or form. This is real, okay? Because troubled waters lay ahead, and this is not about fear. It's necessary. What was done to God was not right. And they lied to you about everything. And it's not about saying, well, oh, woe is me, I have to change. We all do. We have to go back to what we were meant to be. What we were never meant to be is what is dying. Troubled waters lay ahead. Troubles one will see depend on their choices of actions and thoughts. Karma is being applied. To choose to mock the feminine is not going unrecognized. And lessons in this are unfolding in real time or breath. Vibrations of flow. When I dried the Nile, I dried the Nile. I'm going to show you where that is really quickly. The first time. Okay, I didn't know it was coming. I never knew anything I do was coming. I just follow my heart nudges. I follow God's nudge. I work directly through source. And then I watch things unfold as I do them and process them through. Like, did I just do that? But when I did the Nile, there were a great many who were supposed to rise with me. Okay, and these were people who took part in taking down Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Horus, and people who took part originally in creating the Matrix false blueprint. So I cleared all the pyramids, rose Atlantis, freed Jesus' soul, united my soul and my DM's soul, undid the Holy Grail, activated all the pyramids, and so on. And then eventually got to the point where I dried the Nile. The first time. Very relevant. There was only one time. I then implemented it. But this is where the Nile turns to blood, dries out. I regain full power. I got that soul fragment back as well. The gates of heaven opened. There are 13 gates, not 12. And in this, half of it is just them giving me gifts. And then about halfway through, we start doing the work. It just comes through. And I didn't know it was coming. They put my feet in water, and everything that I purged through this earth turned to blood in the water. The water is very relevant, okay? And spirituality isn't dictated by how you interpret it. It's dictated by how it should be interpreted, by how spirit communicates. So be aware of that. Okay, your expectations and judgments are not interpretation. We have to be observant. And that's part of the card message I'm about to read. But in the original Nile workshop, towards the end, they were connected to the eye of Ra, the light of God, the sun. Okay, and the Horus is the moon. He rose too, shortly after. Horus, and then his soul attached with my DM. Fragment of the soul. So the eye of Horus is the left side of your brain, and the eye of Ra should be the right. That's why also Reiki has to upgrade. Everything that was done in the Matrix has to come back to the light, if it was of the light at all. Whatever they stole. But in this, God specifically mentioned, and I said it out loud, that if they don't use it wisely, it will be taken. And every one of them lost the connection to the eye of Ra. And I literally saw them go from seeing everything to being blinded. It's very real. Okay, these things are very, very, very real through their choices, and it happened over time. They didn't just choose to not see. They brought in the shadow and attacked me and refused to align with their soul purpose. The Sistine Chapel undoing was not supposed to be done by me. That was supposed to be done by the one who was connected to that karma. There was more. And so they didn't fulfill their soul path, which does affect all of mankind. So spiritual discipline is going to be extremely required. Okay? Then I have some card messages here. It is easy to make assumptions, but much harder to just be still. It's very easy to assume that this isn't real, or to assume that I don't know what I'm talking about, or to assume that you know what spirit is saying and what is going to happen, because you don't. It's much harder to be still and be observant. By the way, did you know Machu Picchu was the fourth pyramid? Connection of the stairway to heaven is the fourth portal. That is Atlantis. It's very real. Okay? I activated a pyramid there. And it is the portal of Atlantis. So it is very easy to make assumptions, but much harder to just be observant and be still. It's much harder to allow things to unfold that are truthful and to release what is not. It's much harder to just be. It's much harder to actually take actions and push past the resistance. Okay, and the resistance is part of assumptions. The process should not stop you. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter what we have to let go of. We have to. And just like that beautiful video talked about, is it's not about fear. It's not about, whoa, like this sucks. No, it doesn't. It's beautiful and it's time. It's already done. So you can't stop it. The only thing the shadow can stop now is you from rising. And it is a soul change. So we don't really die, but we are going to change what we know and who we are as a soul. I know that because as I've done this work, multiple layers of this work, I take people back to the creation of their soul. I watched their soul be created. I see the blueprint of your soul and the lessons and the entire knowledge base of your soul. It's what I do. It's what I've done because this is the great reset of mankind. So the process should not stop you. It is the purpose that truly matters and can keep you going. So spiritual discipline is required because we are in the death of what you call, but it's more than America. It's the Matrix blueprint system, the Antichrist system. Okay? So justifying behaviors does not serve you. There's no good excuse. And that came out in my Twin Flame course as well. A lot of this does. It's not just for Twin Flames. It's for all of mankind to unite with the masculine and feminine inside. These are irreconcilable energies. We cannot be duality anymore. We cannot. And justifying any reason and rationale into why you do, it's your ego, it's shadow, and it's a lie. Okay? And it will blind you. So you have to be careful to what you speak, what you say, and what you listen to. Because I see to this day in the spiritual community a lot of shadow becoming your demise. I watched yesterday some Reiki master destroy past life contracts for people. You cannot do that. They have to be brought forward, which is why in the work that I did, God had me put it all together in a path to righteousness. It awakens you. It calls all your karma forward so that you can see it clearly and make choices in love the whole way, because you have to heal it to rise through choices that for most of you will be hidden in disguise. That's why he gave that gift. Because these are DNA activations of Christ. Okay? Yellow, golden ray activations, the sun, the one, the moon. We have the moon and the sun here. Okay? Soul path required. You have the DNA, just like he said, these DNA, when I brought those down on several occasions, it photosynthesizes through the earth, and only through those it can connect to purely, which is why they pushed those thingies and everything else that the matrix does, because you are no longer DNA viable to your original DNA creation, which is God in the earth. And we have to be balanced from the heart center to be in the new earth. Balance begins where the heart nudges, not the mind. Okay? And we can't see past the shadow. We can't see at the soul level. So to become soul path aligned, spiritual discipline is required. To make it through these troubled waters, spiritual discipline is required. And to have happen in the return of Christ, what happened does affect all of mankind. Okay? And where you find troubled waters depends on where your karma kickback is applied. We are now rising, and we have to be detached from what is dying. And the only way to do that is to be spiritual disciplined in your soul path alignment. The soul path is the opposite of the matrix blueprint. And that's everything that I have done and helped people through. And all of the courses and the things that I do are new earth blueprint, new earth creation, and the power of Christ. We cannot do things on earth the way we used to do them anymore. We have to honor the earth and light of God and all connection. We have to honor love. Spiritual discipline is required, and so is your soul path alignment, because the other is dying. And this is a karmic kickback. And I love what he said. Let's listen one more time to the beginning of that, because it was so very important.
Time evolves and comes to a place where it renews again. There is first a purification time, then there's renewal time. We are getting very close to this time now.
We are in the purification time. Fires, everything.
We were told that we would see America come and go. And in a sense, America is dying from within, because they forgot the instructions on how to live on earth. Everything.
They forgot the instructions on how to live on earth. It's not a president. It was Adam and Eve. King and queen, masculine and feminine, the light of God, the honor of God. And they took that. They took every power of God and got you to give your power away of God to them.
Everything is coming to a time where prophecy and man's inability to live on earth in a spiritual way will come to a crossroad of great problems. It's the Hopi belief, it's our belief that if you're not spiritually connected to the earth and understand the spiritual reality of how to live on earth, it's likely you will not make it.
It is likely you will not make it. You cannot have any matrix blueprint left within you. You cannot be duality anymore, and you cannot use the light of Christ to serve the agenda that is not aligned with God. Spiritual discipline is required. Your soul path alignment is required now. And if that sparks your shadow, you may not make it. Use that as the reflection to heal what's within you. So much love, my friends. I'm very proud of what I've survived through. My beautiful DM, who is magnificent, and all I have done for all of you. The time has come, and the return is now. I'm so proud. But I have everything you need if you're looking through the right lens. See you next time. Troubled waters are here. It is the great purge.